Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Switch Statement Podcast. It's a podcast for investigations into miscellaneous tech topics.
This is a special episode where we predict the future. We'd love to hear from you. Send your comments and feedback to team@thkp.co.
Hey, John, how are you doing?
Hey, Matt. I'm doing really good. How are you doing?
I am doing okay. It's the day after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, did you
Feeling
eat some pies?
lethargic. Yeah, parts of two pies. I myself didn't eat two whole pies. And
Yeah, you had a slice. What
I
type of
regret
pies?
an insinuation. No, pumpkin and apple. Couldn't get
okay.
more classic.
Classic.
How about you? Any pie? Any pie consumption?
Couple pies, yeah. We had a pecan pie, which is my favorite
Ooh.
pie, coincidentally. And my wife made it, and man, it was really good. Like, she absolutely crushed it.
My one problem with pecan pies is sometimes it feels like they're just too sweet. It's just like
Yes.
extremely sweet.
It's funny you say that because I feel like a pecan pie, and this is why I like it, it's an exercise in maximizing sweetness, but not, well, in my opinion, I guess probably some people feel differently about this.
You're like
but
sneaking the sweetness in.
yeah, and there's a similar dessert called a Bakewell tart, or it's actually a Bakewell tart is completely different. I shouldn't even say it's a similar dessert, but it's similar in that I feel like it's an exercise to sneak in as much sweetness as possible. So you sort of have to use these other flavors, like in a pecan pie, you use like bourbon, or you're using some sort of somewhat bitter or dark flavors so that you can push that sweetness up. And then in a Bakewell tart, you're using kind of an almondy substrate so that you can kind of maximize that sweetness. But I found that I love desserts like that because I have a massive sweet tooth.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was just saying to Christina before, I feel like the holidays are low key like a way to fatten everybody up. It's like, okay, this came about because of human society was like, all right, everybody's got to fatten up for the winter because if you
Yeah.
don't, you're gonna die. And it's like that's just a sign. It's like, all right, we're gonna put you in context where it's impossible to control how much you eat.
I know.
And
It's
I feel
quite
like
annoying.
a pecan pie is just like a classic example of like, all right, we got to cram as many calories in here as possible.
It really is. And it's an effective delivery.
So today we're not talking about Elon Musk today. I mean, not intentionally. Maybe he'll sneak in here or there. But today is our 100th episode.
Woohoo!
And what are we doing?
Yeah, we're doing something crazy. We're mixing it up. We're doing predictions. We're going to each do a few predictions, and then we're going to discuss it. And more specifically, we're going to try to predict what is going to happen in the next 4 years. Did we
Well,
decide?
I think what we said was in episode 200,
Yeah.
we're going to look back and we're going to say we're going to review our predictions. Did everything we say come to pass?
Yeah.
I would say that I would never have predicted that we would be making a 100th episode of this podcast.
Yeah,
That's
the first prediction is like, will we have a 200th episode?
that's meta. Yeah, I didn't think. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this podcast is only going to end when one of us dies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, we're both too obstinate and willing to just keep doing something forever.
With zero critical reflection. And I feel like we always make that joke. But
Yep.
but yeah, I don't know. I mean, and who knows? At some point, maybe we just will hit some inflection point, start making $1 million from this podcast.
Dude, that'd be sweet. We could advertise some NordVPN or something like that.
Yeah, but right now we have like 7 listeners. So
Yeah, which we appreciate you. 7, if you're one of the 7.
no, it's actually I think there's like a, and it is funny because I don't think we have any way to know if it's the same 30 people who listen to this podcast every week. Dude, we should just host a party or something because 30 people is like, oh, okay, like I would have all those people in a room.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great party. Like, in fact, I feel like that's almost the max for like party.
Yes.
You go beyond
No.
that, it's
I
too
think
much.
even weddings, like one thing most weddings suffer from, too
Too big.
big.
Yep, 100%. Well, would you like to make the first prediction?
I would not. I almost want to know, like, I almost want to know what your prediction was. Because
Okay.
yeah.
I will make the first prediction then. And this one's a crazy one. And I decided like, hey, if I'm gonna make predictions, I'm gonna kind of like go all out and like
Well, this
be
is okay. Put the dates on this. So we're saying that this is 20. What is this? 2031? No,
wait, isn't that
2020.
6 years? 2029.
Sorry, 2029. 2029. Okay, so not
And
quite
I
2030s.
will say I did 5 years for some reason because I think I just forgot that we were doing our 200th episode. So this might happen a year later than what I
Okay,
predict.
all right. We'll give you a little slack. Uh,
Okay, are you ready for my
I'm ready.
prediction?
Yeah.
All diseases are cured within 5 years.
Damn. Holy crap.
This is my prediction. And I do want to describe this a little bit because there's a lot of nuance to this. So I've mentioned on this podcast many times that I read this book called Song of the Cell, and something that became clear to me was we are not even close to understanding the human body and just biology in general. Like it is so complicated, and we understand a tremendous amount of it, and we can sort of wrap our heads around the chemical processes that are happening to, like when you go for a run and whatever lactic acid starts spilling out of your organs or whatever. We understand a lot of those various mechanisms, but as a whole picture, we're not even close. But I do think that there's other technologies that are happening today, AI being a major one of them, that will sort of enable us to combine a lot of disparate ideas, um, and allow us to kind of crack the code. And I also want to point out, and I think we've also mentioned this on the podcast, but there was a recent major advancement in our understanding of proteins
Right. Alpha
and
fold.
AlphaFold, and that was like a sleeper, like not a. I mean, that did make big headlines in the media, but I don't think people.
I don't think the general public it hasn't filtered into our collective consciousness in the way that like
Exactly.
ChatGPT has.
Yes, and I think the implications of it, and I'll admit I don't understand this stuff. I'll just come right out and say that out of the gate because I'm probably gonna like speak some nonsense, but I think the implications of that are major because the way proteins are structured and the way they sort of sit on these like receptor parts of our cells in our body, that is like super important to understanding how our body functions. Like that is basically the way proteins sit on these receptors
Yeah.
explains so many of the processes that happen in our body. So if you can sort of construct a protein that like lands on these particular receptors in a very particular way, then you can achieve a lot with sort of manipulating our biological processes. And so I think, yeah, I don't know. I think we're a lot closer than a lot of people realize to this goal of sort of like completely hacking, the human body and just, oh, you had this disease? Well, let's inject you with this exact designed substance that will just like land on the cells and fix it. And so I think we're close, and I hope we're close. I'm feeling optimistic about it.
It does feel like there's this confluence of things that are happening because you've got everything that you're talking about where AlphaFold you can design, designer drugs, you can go to the doctor, they can tailor something directly to you. But then you also have gene editing, which has also been this sleeper technology where we've had these breakthroughs. And I feel like there's probably just a ton of labs out there who are humming away in the background, figuring out how to make this technology safer.
Yeah.
And I just wonder, are we going to have designer babies in the first, I mean, 4 years still seems fast for that timeline.
It does. Yeah, I think that this is not taking into account like the rollout of such a technology, which the rollout itself would be this immense human undertaking. It's like even if you find the 8 lines of software or gene editing code that does cure all diseases, I think that that's just step one in a massive process.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think we're a lot closer than people realize. Another thing I'll say is like I think that a lot of these very very intelligent people who are working in AI, they're kind of already focused on the thing after. Yeah, right
The thing
now,
after?
the example I would give is Google DeepMind,
Hmm.
where they just dropped Gemini 3. But a lot of what Google DeepMind is doing is much more like hardcore research. I remember this from when I was at Google, where they're launching these flagship models, they're launching a chatbot and all these other things. But a lot of their focus is on these sort of more
Hard
esoteric,
science.
yeah, like having a model that can write a proof for a math problem or come up with like an original proof for a geometry problem or something. And it's like you have 7 people working on that, and those are like 7 of the smartest people in GDM. It's like they already know that the models are going to work and going to achieve some certain thing, and they have plenty of engineers making sure that happens. But they have their own pet projects that they're almost like more excited about. And so this is one other thing that I'm excited to see is like when do these things come to fruition, and what are they? Like I'm sure there's plenty in GDM and in probably at OpenAI to some extent, Microsoft. So it'll be interesting to see.
Okay, well, obviously we could spend the full time talking about that, but I'm going to stop myself.
Let's do it.
Um, all right, I think that within the next 4 years, we're actually going to start having some form of universal basic income in the United States.
Oh, yes, I hope so.
I think I think that, and this isn't just kind of like pie in the sky like UBI in general. I think that this is I mean, I keep on saying the word confluence, and now I'm self-conscious about it, but you have AI. Gemini 3 is insane for coding. I don't know if you've been using anti-gravity. So anti-gravity, in case you're not a coder, is the new VS Code. It's a, coding system
It's amazing.
where it is interesting because it feels like if you were to look at VS Code and look at, which is the most popular code editor right now, you look at anti-gravity, like they look almost identical, but it just works so much. It just tweaked in a couple of different ways that feel really powerful. But I guess the larger point is that I feel like we really are at the on the crux of a lot of jobs just like never coming back.
Yeah.
No matter how, like, people are like, oh, like the economy is going to get stronger, the jobs are going to come back, and it's like, I don't know if those jobs are coming back. And in that world, I do think we're going to need something like a UBI.
Yeah. No, I think you're absolutely right. It feels like there's really no other answer in our capitalistic system where you need
Exactly.
money in order to literally survive. It's like there's just no other, because just like you're saying, I think like AI does these jobs better than any human, and it's also the worst it will ever do these jobs. Like it's just going to get better and better. And so you talk about retraining, like, oh, like I'm a engineer, I was a programmer, maybe I could learn how to be a product manager. But like AIs will do that better too.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
here I
It's like
here I am at 40 trying to learn how to be a product manager. There's no way I'm going to compete with the AI, you know.
we're the polar bear on the shrinking ice
Yeah.
floe. It's like the part of the part of the remaining glacier, I guess, in this metaphor, that where like humans are providing value over and above what an AI could do, it is shrinking pretty fast. It's like
Yeah.
over the last 2 years, like it's gone from okay, this is like straight up garbage. Like this is not as good as someone who's been learning to code for a year,
Yeah.
to the point where now I'm tasking AI to do things that it would take me a week to do. It's like, or maybe not a week, but like
Yeah.
it's
No, I mean,
writing
a
the
long
code I would
time.
write essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. It's often writing better code than I would write. And I get this feeling like, damn, like I've been doing this for a long time. I wouldn't have thought to do it that way. And that's like pretty elegant.
Exactly. And so I just think that, well, one of two things is going to, well, so actually, I wanted to pick up another point. You talked about the capitalist system. The one side is you need some capital to exist in the system.
Yeah.
The other side is if you have an AI that can do this for really cheap, and if you have a human who can do this for way, way more, you're going to use the AI. Like there's just so much pressure on the capitalist system to use the
Yeah.
cheaper thing, and then the
Exactly.
jobs are going to go away. So, uh,
Yeah. So there's really, I mean, that's why it seems like a inevitability. It's like, because if you don't use the AI, like if you're very human centric, some other company will use the AI and they'll destroy your business. They'll undercut you.
well, this
And,
is I was making this exact same point. I was like talking about legal technology. And then one of my friends was like, I don't think the lawyers are going to care about that. And I was like, I don't think they're going to have the luxury not to care about that. Because if you're not using the technology, there's going to be another lawyer who's going to do a better job than you are.
yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. It still hasn't really hit people. I think there's a lot of industries that feel like they're safe. And maybe I'm a bit of I don't know what the right word is, like fatalist or something,
mhm.
but it just seems like I just can't think of any reason why AI wouldn't be able to do, most of these jobs that people think are safe. Like being a lawyer even feels like something at the end of the day, you're just processing an immense quantity of information and you have to process it in like a very precise way and then give like a very convincing argument. So it seems as though something AIs could tackle.
It's interesting because if it feels like in a lot of ways, being a lawyer is it's a lot of client work. I mean, depending on the kind of lawyer that you are, but this is something I gained a lot of experience this last semester, but like it takes a lot of work to interface with the humans. So
Yeah.
like, and I think that part is going to be to harder to automate, but
Yeah.
it's
People
also
are
not.
people are going
Yeah,
to want to interact with a human for a long time, I think.
yeah,
So I
and
do
just
think that'll stay.
yeah, figuring out, but I don't know. I think for a lot of these problems, it is going to take a lot less time to do it. And you're
Yeah.
probably not going to need as many skills to do because that client work, I mean, it's hard, but it's different than like the detailed analysis work that you need to do, which that's going to be able to be offloaded to an AI, I think, in the
Yeah.
fullness of time.
I do think that for a while we're going to enter this phase of our economy, phase of human history where humans are just the like human face that you talk to. Like a big thing I believe is that AIs can do a CEO's job.
Yeah,
Like I think that there's going to be and again, this will be driven by market forces where people will have this choice of like do we hire a CEO and pay him $200 million a year or do we hire like a very good people person, but in the background, there's sort of this AI CEO that's actually like making the real decisions. And, this people person is more of like almost like a spokesperson,
yeah,
like he's
a
the
mascot.
face. Yeah, kind of a mascot. I mean, I'm sure this person will have to be highly skilled at like interfacing with people. But the point is, and this is exactly what you're saying with law, it's like this person doesn't need all of the skills of a of a CEO. Like they don't need the actual decision making and business acumen and all of these different extremely difficult skills. So they probably don't pay them nearly as much, but they are sort of the face, and they're the human, human interface, the human go between.
Well,
And I think there's going to be a lot of jobs like that.
this is an interesting point because if you're the face, then that's also you're the brand, right? So
Yeah.
and I think brands are kind of going to be all there is in a
Yeah.
way. Uh, so I think in this new world, doing your own thing is really going to be the thing to do because
Yeah.
everything else is going to, I think, kind of going to go away. Uh,
It's crazy.
yeah.
This
So
actually leads very smoothly into my next prediction,
do it.
which is, and this is something that I think Demis, the head guy at GDM, he said this like years ago. So I'm basically stealing Demis's prediction. A completely humanless company, like completely run. And I also want to like go a little further because I think the example Demis gave was, you have this entity, let's call it an AI company, and it sort of observes the world. It comes up with an idea
Yeah.
that will sort of help the world or bring value to people. It fabricates that. So it sends it to some other AI agent that has the capability of like constructing things or,
Mm-hmm.
3D printing something or whatever. It fabricates it at scale, and then it is able to ship it out or like create a website to sell it. People buy it and then it ships it out. And this is all driven by, an AI. I think that this whole entire process can be completely human free. It's like you look at a company like Amazon, which at its heart is a logistics company. They have achieved mostly human free logistics. Like they still have human truck drivers in a lot of cases. They still do have human warehouse workers, but a lot of the activity at their warehouses completely automated. They have these robots that like move boxes from place to place and sort of find particular, boxes. And so I think we're very close to achieving this kind of like fully vertical free company. And I think we might see some of those in the next 5 years.
One question I have is like, do companies exist anymore in this world? And obviously this sounds insane. And like a lot of what we're talking about is farther future, I guess. And just to pin down what you're saying is you think that by 2029 or 2030 there is going to be one such company where it's completely
Yeah.
AI driven.
Or it'll be like a subsidiary of Google. It'll be like a little project that Google does where they're like, hey, let's just task this AI with trying to do this basically. But yeah, I think there will be like a full, something that comes up with the idea, implements it, gets it to people, and earns revenue based on that.
I mean, if you think about how many businesses are completely online math shops, right? It's like I think you could there's no reason you couldn't make math shops a purely AI run business today.
Maybe we should. We should be the first. And it just becomes a flywheel.
Yeah, I mean, what do they say? There's that famous quote, the best way to predict the future is to invent it.
Yeah.
So, uh, and actually, so I think that then maybe segues to. Oh no, sorry. I wanted to pick up where you left off about like AI run companies. I posited the question: do you even have companies at all? And I've been feeling this a lot more. We're in a world where you can just tell the AI what you want and build exactly the product that you need.
Yeah.
So why do you even have any SaaS at all in that world? Because you can just talk to the AI and make it. You know what I mean?
Just get
Uh,
it instantly. Even content. It's like I feel like we're even There'll be a point where you're like, I want to watch a thriller show with Idris Elba, and where a main character gets murdered as a plot line or something, and that'll just happen instantly.
It'll just happen. And so, like, and it is really weird because I'm working on these projects, these software projects, and there's some library that like doesn't exactly do what I needed it to do, and like, oh, and I'll even go into more detail, maybe too much detail. So there's some library that I'm using in Flutter that allows me to drag a file from my desktop into like a Flutter web app. And I was like,
Yeah.
I wonder if this thing supports dragging a directory into the thing. And it didn't.
Oh,
And
lame.
so in a very short period of time, Gemini 3 was able to write a little demo that supported the ability to drag and drop folders onto something in Flutter. It like figured out how to write platform specific code for
Amazing.
uh, Flutter packages. And then I was like, okay, this is cool, but can we just modify that other package to do what I needed to do? And it was like, sure, okay, like I'm gonna fork it. I'm gonna like chop this functionality into it. I'm gonna update your app so that it uses this new variant. And it's like, why do you need libraries at all in a world where an AI can just like I swear, if I had just asked the AI to write the library from scratch, it would not have taken too long.
Yeah, yeah. Wait, that's crazy. So it like forked
I
some
asked it to
other.
I asked it to fork, so I was using Flutter underscore drop zone, and I was like,
Oh,
hey,
okay.
like, I'm already using Flutter drop zone. It's mostly doing what I needed to. Can you just fork it and modify it and update the dependency on it? And it did
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And so like
Dang,
that's
that's crazy.
crazy. Like that's something where you're kind of like, well, if the AI can almost instantly create something that perfectly does what I need it to, like why do you even have software companies at all?
Yeah. Well, I do think that a lot of people are pessimistic about AI. I'm actually extremely optimistic. Like I think AI is going to improve so much of the average person's life. And I do think that one thing it will improve is exactly what you're talking about, like having bespoke, technology and even things like what I was saying about a fully non-human fabrication,
Right.
plant. Like you imagine some sort of, you can just go to a website and be like, I want this thing. It'll just, whatever, it'll create a CAD drawing, it'll create a 3D model, it'll print it, it'll sew it, it'll do something, and it'll get that thing to you.
Exactly.
And I think that this is going to exist, and people are going to be able to really enrich their lives because of these things. And so maybe I do think that whether companies exist or not is like a very interesting question because I think that what a lot of companies are doing today will just be completely unnecessary
Yeah.
in the future. Like writing little apps for like managing your workouts or something like that. Like everyone's going to be able to write their own workout app. You could argue that maybe there's like a social element. Sometimes it's cool to all be on the same thing, and maybe that will still exist for a time. But I think a lot of companies that are sort of solving these little problems in human lives, like that type of thing, people will just be able to fill in those blanks themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I
Uh,
think there'll be a couple like mega corps, like
yeah.
like
And it's
Google. It'll still exist, but
and I think what it is you have these companies where some person sees there's like some market for a product, and then they have to like they build a company around that idea, and that's the sort of thing where it feels like that might go away because we're
Mhm.
converging towards a world because like okay, if you think about any particular product, you need a certain number of people to demand that product in order for it to get made. Like maybe maybe a single person wants something very specific and they're never going to get it because they don't have an infinite amount of money to
Yeah.
get that. But the number of people demanding any particular product is going to be able to go converge towards one in order for it to make it economically feasible to get it. So then why do you need to have some labor intensive like product market analysis process when each person can request specifically what they want?
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's very true. And I think that it really is going to change the tapestry of like what companies exist and which ones are successful.
And to get back to your point, just to like close the loop, like, yeah, it's going to be those megacorps, which they're not picking products. They're offering capabilities, I think.
Yeah. And I think there's going to be, you look at companies today and they're just kind of doing bigger and bigger things. They're doing these things that really would have seemed like sci-fi 25 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Google with Waymo doing self-driving cars, and also Tesla with whatever their thing is to a certain extent. I think we're going to see more and more of these types of things, launching a data center in space or creating some sort of mega dam that powers 1/3 of China, like these huge projects that can only be done with these like vast Herculean human efforts. And then all the little things will just be done by AIs.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Okay. So I think I have the last prediction, right?
Yeah.
All right. So my prediction is MathChops is going to be acquired by 4 years from now.
Dude. I mean, I'd be into that. I want MathChops to be as good as it can possibly be. And sometimes I feel as though having it be acquired is the path to that.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't mean that we are bad stewards of MathChops, because I think we're great stewards. I think we like really care. I think we are deeply, concerned about the user experience.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think that we as a organization or apparatus or something, we just lack certain things that could help MathChops a lot. And one of those is just like engineering resources. Like, we are all very busy.
Mm-hmm.
When you and I do work on MathChops, we can do good work, but we just don't necessarily have a tremendous amount of time. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, kind of going on a tangent, but I think it'd be cool.
Well, thinking about what we were just talking about, where engineering resources are now, like, we can tap into an infinite amount of engineering resources, or like an infinitely divisible amount of engineering resources for very cheap. Our CEO is now writing or fixing bugs in the app using AI. And so I don't know. I mean, I think there's a world where we can scale up scale up our Eng lift, because we have, that we're not capital constrained.
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah. It's possible. It's possible, but I still think that, engineering is becoming a lot easier, but there is still, you need like a hand holding element. And even that takes time and takes, a form of like devoting yourself to a problem for some significant amount of time.
That's fair. And
which, maybe that'll go away eventually. I don't know. Maybe you'll just be able to feed it our big task spreadsheet, and it'll just kind of do them
honestly
all.
Like, I would try that. I would just like be like, hey, here's a CSV in of all of our tasks, just put that into anti-gravity. And honestly, I would almost be scared, because I think it would probably do pretty well.
Yeah,
I don't know, maybe it's something to try at the next hack session. But yeah, so those are my thoughts.
Love it.
I think.
Yeah, I think this is all going to happen. I think.
I mean, it's funny because your business idea, I'm not convinced it hasn't already started to happen. Like, it's probably out there.
I do. Sometimes I see these shorts on YouTube,
mm-hmm.
and I think to myself, like, this is a fully AI run
enterprise.
enterprise, yeah, where it's like AI is conceiving of this idea and creating like a crappy video and then posting it on YouTube. And there's no, it's almost like I think it would be better if there was a little bit of human involvement because they're just such slop.
Yeah, yeah. But
yeah,
before long, I don't know. It's crazy looking at some of these AI responses because it really is like, okay, it feels like I'm talking to a human. I mean, and I know it's been that way for a little while, but it's just, I don't know. Every single time the next model gets released, it's like, whoa.
It's like they rarely get worse. It's like there's a few cases where the AIs will get worse at certain things.
Yeah.
But the way, benchmarking works and the way that these companies internally have their own regression testing about various aspects that the AI can be good at, these AIs are just getting better and better, generally speaking. And it's almost insane to think, like, if a human gets 1% smarter every day, they're very quickly smarter than Einstein.
Right.
And that's sort of what's happening to AIs, and that it's just wild to think that the AIs will never be worse than today.
Yeah.
They're just going to keep getting better and better.
It's so interesting to me because we are converging towards a system where, like, in order to get more processing power for all of the history of humanity, you needed to create a new human, which was very, like, to do these cognitive tasks.
Yeah.
And now we're converging to, or like we have a world where, like, actually we can trade between energy and intelligence, like, freely. Essentially, we can just like convert energy into sophisticated intelligence, and we can just cram essentially an infinite amount of energy on one side and get an infinite amount of intelligence on the other side.
Yeah.
And it's just weird to think about what the world, and I almost feel like a little guilty because I have it do this inane task, and you can see there's like a tremendous amount of sophistication going on in the processing that it's thinking about. It's like really like balancing all these different ideas, and I'm like, wow, I just had to like rename this variable, and it's like
settling some idiotic task.
To rename a variable, you first must invent the universe.
Just imagine though, it's like you literally have like, Isaac Newton helping you rename a variable. It's incredible.
It is. Well, what is going to happen, or like reductio ad absurdum. That's what I was saying. Like the reductio ad absurdum is like, you're going to have a system which like stimulates the future of the whole universe as a result of you renaming this variable. It's like, okay, like I'm going to rename it foo, and then I'm going to rename it bar. It's like, all right, let's see which universe is a more fantastic universe.
But we'll have a Dyson sphere worth of energy, so it'll be fine.
Right, exactly. It'll just like eat a couple of stars and be like, all right, which variable do I want to, what's the name of it?
Nice.
All right, cool. Well, I'm excited for the future. I don't know about you.
Me too. I'm super excited, and I'm very optimistic. I know there's a lot of seemingly dark ways that this could go, but I think it's going to be pretty awesome.
It is good that we didn't have just one more prediction, because my next one was World War III. But we can cut it off. We can cut it off before then.
Nice. It's funny. All of my predictions are like very, like, just good, happy thing. I have one prediction, which is $7 trillion company that I guess is, kind of neutral.
Yeah, I guess it depends on your, because I definitely have met enough people who are like accumulation of wealth. Is bad in itself. Which I don't know. Sometimes I think that's true.
I think it's true. So maybe it is an evil thing.
Right.
But anyway, I think this was great. This was really fun.
Well, this has been a good 100 episodes, and looking forward to the next 100.